Part 42. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 411. Zhang Chen rode to the intersection of Stadium Road and Yan'an Road and stopped. He decided to go to the International Building on the opposite side of Stadium Road first. The offices of the International Building are on the 8th floor, just like the Xingqiao Hotel. This is probably to cater to the tastes of Taiwanese and Hong Kong people and to get some luck. Either 8 or 18, just like the private rooms of Heiken Hotel and KTV, they also like to use 18, want to pay, 28, I want to pay, or 3/8, fa. Even Nance Huanghao's bag the minimum consumption is 8,888. This is an era where everyone wants to make a fortune. It doesn't matter whether it is good fortune or bad fortune, as long as they can make a fortune. Zhang Chen looked at the company names in the row at the elevator entrance and knew that he didn't even have to go upstairs. Most of them were companies from Hong Kong and Taiwan, as well as several local companies, except for one from the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. Representative offices and others are all trading companies. Even if there are two companies with global names, they are still trading companies in the end. Zhang Chen left the International Building. It was cold and windy outside. Zhang Chen felt very depressed. He felt that he had no direction. Where would the companies that were suitable for him be? They would obviously not be in these hotels. Zhang Chen pushed his bicycle across Stadium Road in front of the International Building and walked towards Hangcheng Building on the left side of Woolen Square opposite. Hangcheng Tower Hotel is very famous, but its lobby is the smallest among these hotels, and it is even somewhat incompatible with its reputation. The hotel lobby in the original design has now become the atrium of a shopping mall. The hotel lobby can only condescend to the side entrance of the annex building, which shares a 6 to 7 meter wide passage with the side entrance of the Tianlong commercial building next door. For the first time, when a guest comes to stay at the parking lot in front of Hangcheng Building, he can't find the hotel lobby without asking the security guard. The office building of Hangcheng Tower is located on the 5th floor of the hotel. There is no auspicious number. Probably because as the tallest building in Hangzhou, I feel there is no need to condescend to cater to other people's tastes, no matter where you are from. Where it comes from, and when it gets here, it must be arranged by me. But the companies here are no different from other hotels. From the list of companies, Zhang Chen only saw two companies, which may have something to do with him. One is the Hangzhou office of 503 Hong Kong Tomorrow Publishing Company. There was also the Hangzhou business office of Shenzhen Sankei Printing Co., Limited. Zhang Chen knew that this should be a printing factory, and maybe they would need designers. Zhang Chen went up to the 5th floor and arrived at 503 first. The door was closed. Zhang Chen knocked on the door. Someone inside the door called, "Wait a minute." There was a rustling sound. After 4 or 5 minutes, someone came to open the door. The door opened. He is a middle-aged man in his 40s, chubby, with a few sparse hair neatly combed, and a pair of glasses on his fair face. He let Zhang Chen in. Zhang Chen saw that there were two tables facing each other inside. Facing the door, a girl was sitting. Zhang Chen could see her face flushed. Zhang Chen couldn't help but frown in disgust. He hummed her so hard in broad daylight in the office. This bastard was so polite. How could such a rotten person break a publishing company? Zhang Chen saw two bookshelves behind the table facing the door. The bookshelves were filled with rows of books. It could be seen from the traditional Chinese characters on the spines that they were all Hong Kong editions. The background color of the spines is either bright red, earthy yellow or dark green. Zhang Chen can imagine that the cover designs of these books must be very vulgar. The man stood there with his hands on his waist. He did not ask Zhang Chen to sit down, but asked him what he wanted. Zhang Chen told him that he was here to apply for a job. The man said curiously, "We are not recruiting anyone. Are we hiring?" He turned to ask the girl. The girl lowered her head and shook it desperately. Zhang Chen said yes. I saw it written below that you are Hong Kong Tomorrow Publishing Company, so I came up to ask if you needed someone to design book bindings. No, no, just go, we don't need design for our books. The man looked at the girl sitting there again and shouted impatiently, probably because he thought Zhang Chen had spoiled his good deeds. What kind of book doesn't need binding design? What else did Zhang Chen want to say, to fight for himself? The man took a piece of paper from the table, slapped it on Zhang Chen's chest, and said to him, "Take it. If a friend wants to publish a book, you can come to me and I will get a commission." As he spoke, he walked to the door and put one hand on the door handle, almost urging Zhang Chen to go out so that he could close the door. Zhang Chen came out of the door in embarrassment, still holding the piece of paper that the guy thrust into him. Zhang Chen stood in the corridor and looked at the piece of paper with the light above his head. On one side of the paper, he boasted that Tomorrow Publishing Company was a well-known publishing organization in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Southeast Asia, and was the most influential publishing company in the Chinese world. And then went on to undertake the publication of various books, from memoirs to novels, prose, reportage, and poetry collections, to various essay collections. It is said that let us help you bind your dreams into a book to influence and shock the world. The words in smaller sizes below explain that we can export everything that cannot be exported to the mainland. Use one larger font to specify that all books have international book numbers. Zhang Chen understood that what this guy was undertaking was similar to the model of the Times co-written by Lu Ligan and the Yongcheng County Federation of Literary and Art Circles. It was a shoddy book that no publishing house would publish. As for the international book number, God knows, you just print a random number on it, who knows if it's true or false. On the bookshelf behind this guy, those books with bright red and green covers are probably their masterpieces. Such books really don't need any binding design. The printer can just adjust the color and choose the font size at will. Zhang Chen turned this piece of paper over and looked at it. On it was a price list. Depending on the book format, printing sheets, and number of prints, the fees ranged from 1,000 to tens of thousands. It was marked at the bottom that the middleman introduced the business and the commission was 10%. Zhang Chen crumpled it into a ball and threw it into the stainless steel trash can in the corridor. Zhang Chen stood in the corridor, took a deep breath, calmed down, and continued walking into the corridor. The Hangzhou business office of Shenzhen Sankei Printing Co., Limited was at the end of the corridor, room 519. Before Zhang Chen reached room 519, he saw someone pulling out a four-wheeled cart from the door. There was a neatly packaged package of printed matter wrapped tightly in craft paper. Zhang Chen passed by next to you, walked towards the elevator room. Zhang Chen walked to the door and knocked on the door twice. There was a little girl inside holding a folder in one hand and a pen in the other. She was memorizing something. When she heard a knock on the door, she turned her head and hurriedly told Zhang Chen, "Please come in." Room 519 was a suite. When Zhang Chen entered, he saw that there was no other furniture except for a set of sofas and coffee tables. All the space had been vacated and used to pile up packages of printed matter wrapped in craft paper. Zhang Chen saw that these printed matter were piled into piles of different sizes. On each pile, a note was posted in a conspicuous place, which read Sanmen County Government, Zhejiang Provincial Tourism Bureau, Zhejiang Provincial Tourism Bureau, Provincial China Travel Service, Hangcheng City Silk Company, Huanglong Hotel, etc. This is to indicate that these printed materials belong to these units to prevent porters from moving them by mistake. The little girl was busy with her own business. She didn't ask Zhang Chen what happened. Instead, she asked him to sit down and told him that our manager Chu has guests, please wait a moment. Zhang Chen said thank you, and he sat down on the sofa. The little girl put the folder under her arm and brought him a glass of water. Zhang Chen heard a woman talking softly in the room inside. No, no, not to mention Hangzhou, not even Shanghai and Beijing. We are the only ones in China that have installed Heidelberg's offset printing press. Otherwise, you have to send it to Hong Kong for printing. That is definitely not cost-effective, right? Yes, of course the price will be more expensive. You can't compare it with domestic offset printing machines, right? You have also seen the effect. Not to mention domestic offset printing machines, even if you compare them with other imported machines, they are not the same. Heidelberg is the leader in the printing industry after all, right? You can't ask for lobster, but you are only willing to pay the price of Shopee, right, Director Xiao? Okay, take this contract back with you. Once it's filled out, I'll ask Xiao Chen to come and get it. Of course, why bother bothering the director to make another trip? Don't worry, I will definitely help Director Xiao keep an eye on it. There won't be any delays. That's right. Quality, quantity, and time will be guaranteed. I'll deliver it to you before the 20th of next month. Okay. Zhang Chen sat there, listening to this woman's voice, and began to like her. The bad temper he had just received from that guy felt relieved. After a while, a man in his 40s walked out and waved to the little girl. The little girl quickly said, "Walk slowly." The little girl said to Zhang Chen, "Please go in, our manager, we have time now." Zhang Chen asked softly, "What is your manager's surname?" "Qu," the little girl said to him. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 412. Zhang Chen walked to the inner room and saw a dignified woman in her 30s sitting inside. When Zhang Chen saw her, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He felt that her person and her voice were a perfect match. Really lives up to his words. "Hello, Manager Chu," Zhang Chen nodded towards her. Manager Chu smiled at Zhang Chen and motioned for him to sit across from her. Just as she was about to say something, she coughed, quickly waved her hand and said, "Sorry, I'll take a drink of water first." She picked up the glass on the table and took a sip of water. After putting down the glass, she habitually slapped her hand twice in front of her face, as if to swat something away. She smiled and said to herself, what she said every day, too many words. She raised her head and asked Zhang Chen, "What can I do for you?" Zhang Chen told her straightforwardly that he was looking for a job. When he saw your company's brand below, he came up to ask if you were hiring designers. "Oh, that's right. Let me tell you, our factory in Shenzhen can recruit designers. I don't need them here. I'm just a business office here, specializing in printing business." Although the place was not hiring, Manager Chu did not show any sign of being disturbed. When she saw Zhang Chen carrying a portfolio, she asked, "Did you bring your own works?" Zhang Chen nodded. "Can you let me admire it?" Zhang Chen quickly agreed. He opened the folder, took out the works inside, and handed them to Manager Qu. Manager Chu looked at them one by one and asked, "Did you design these?" Zhang Chen said yes. After reading it, Manager Chu sighed and said, "That's great. These are not in Hangzhou, right?" "Yes, it's in Haikan. I just came back from Haikan," Zhang Chen said. "Hainan Island. No wonder, if I were in Hangzhou, I would know about it." Manager Chu took out the painting in the lobby of Wanghai International Hotel and asked Zhang Chen, "Where is this in Haikan?" "Wanghai Tower. Oh, that hotel I stayed in was on Haixiu Road, right? Now it's like this." Manager Chu looked at Zhang Chen with questioning eyes. Zhang Chen said yes, the renovation had just been completed. "You designed it? That's great. Then I will definitely stay there again next time," Manager Chu said with a smile. She asked Zhang Chen, "It seems that you are doing well in Haikan, why do you want to come back?" Zhang Chen hesitated for a while and told her, "I am from Yongcheng. I don't know if Manager Chu knows Yongcheng. I encountered some personal matters in Haikan and had to come back. You know, You know, the pearl on the golden tourism line in your county was printed by us. Manager Chu nodded, indicating that she knew Yang Chen. As for what personal matters Jiang Chen mentioned, she did not ask any further. She returned the paintings to Jiang Chen, breathed a sigh of relief, and said, "It's a pity that there don't seem to be many opportunities for talents like you in Hangzhou. Compared with Shenzhen Haikan, Hangzhou is still far behind. Although I am a native of Hangzhou, I have to admit it." Jiang Chen nodded and said yes. "When I first left the city station and the train station, I felt uncomfortable. That's right, I stayed in Shenzhen for 6 years. When I came back for the first time last year, as soon as I got out of Jianqiao Airport, I almost cried. Why is Hangzhou so shabby?" Manager Chu said, and both of them laughed. "By the way, is it possible for you to go to Shenzhen to develop? If you go to Shenzhen, I can help introduce you, not only to our factory, but also to many of my friends. You also know that people who work in our industry, the ones we deal with the most are advertising companies, and they need talents like you," Manager Chu said. "I want to try again in Hangzhou, but if it doesn't work, I will go to Shenzhen," Jiang Chen told Manager Chu honestly. Manager Chu took out his business card from the drawer, handed it to Jiang Chen, and said to him, "Okay, we have agreed. If you are going to Shenzhen, contact me and I will call them for you." Jiang Chen quickly said thank you. He took Manager Chu's business card with both hands and saw Manager Chu's name printed on the business card, which was Chu Tianlin. Manager Chu asked Jiang Chen, "Do you have a business card?" Jiang Chen blushed and said to her, "What I have is Haikan's old business card." "It's okay." Manager Chu took out his address book from the drawer, spread it out, and said to Jiang Chen, "Write it here." Jiang Chen took the pen she handed him, wrote his name in the address book, and left the phone number of the Hunky Hotel. Jiang Chen told Manager Chu that there is no phone where I live, and this is the phone number of my girlfriend's work. Then write your girlfriend's name on the back. Jiang Chen wrote Xiao Zhao's name on the back of the phone. He returned the pen to Manager Qu. Manager Chu said, "Let me make a note." She wrote a pair of brackets under Jiang Chen's name and filled in the brackets designer 3 words. Jiang Chen stood up to say goodbye. Manager Chu also stood up and stretched out his hand to shake Jiang Chen's hand. Her hand was soft. It was already 5 o'clock. Jiang Chen was riding his bicycle and walking towards the Red Flag Hotel. The cold wind was like a knife on his face. His face hurt, as if a layer of skin was about to be peeled off. I don't know if it was the wind or something else, but Jiang Chen felt a little moist at the corners of his eyes. He thought about Chu Tianlin, who had just said goodbye, and felt a little moved in his heart. Although she did not provide him with a job, she provided an attitude and temperature that made people feel warm in this cold evening. She also provided herself with a way out. If she really couldn't survive in Hangzhou, and couldn't go back to Haikan and Yongchen, she could at least take Xiao Zhao to Shenzhen. Although Chu Tianlin spoke softly, Jiang Chen believed her words. If she said she could help him, she would definitely do so. Jiang Chen had no doubt at all, even though they only met by chance, just like Sister Osman thus, including the Japanese Harada. Shino, they are all good people. Jiang Chen feels that no matter how many bad people you meet in this world, you will always meet many good people, which will make you still have confidence in the world. Many times, being a good person is very simple, that is, when someone reaches out to you for help, although you cannot meet their request, you cannot refuse rudely. Jiang Chen arrived at the Hunky Hotel. Xiao Zhao saw him coming in from the open window and shouted, "Hurry up, I have heated up the food. Come over and eat." Jiang Chen walked to the brazier and sat down, rubbed his face with both hands, and then picked up a lunch box. After Xiao Zhao handed him the chopsticks, he quickly retracted his hand. Jiang Chen's eyes were sharp and he shouted, "Give me your hand." Xiao Zhao chuckled and hid his hands behind his back. Zhang Chen put down the lunch box in his hand and stretched out his hand. Xiao Zhao had no choice but to take one of his hands out from behind and put it on Zhang Chen's in hand. "There is one more," Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao pouted and obediently put his other hand into Zhang Chen's hand. Zhang Chen asked, "What happened? Did you fall while learning to drive at noon?" Zhang Chen saw that the knuckles of Xiao Zhao's hands were red and swollen. Xiao Zhao shook her head. She said, "No, no, it was nothing." Zhang Chen suddenly understood and felt sour in his heart. He knew that Xiao Zhao was going to get frostbite. It was so cold in Hangzhou. When Xiao Zhao was washing vegetables and cooking at home, he had to soak his hands in cold water. At work, he was washing and doing things. In order to maintain hygiene, the hands had to be soaked in the biting cold water. In just a few days, the hands were frozen and on the verge of getting frostbite. "It's okay. Except for the winter in Haikan, I didn't get chilblains. When I was at home, I got chilblains every year. What's so great about chilblains? After the winter, it will heal on its own," Xiao Zhao said lightly. Zhang Chen looked at Xiao Zhao and said, "Either, let's go to Shenzhen, Shenzhen is also warm." "What's going on?" Xiao Zhao opened his eyes wide. "Really, I met a sister today and she said she could help me introduce jobs in Shenzhen," Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said. Xiao Zhao shook her head and said, "It's better not to leave. Our home has just been completed. I like our home, so don't move. Besides, you don't want to take me back to Yongcheng to meet your parents. I went to Shenzhen, and now I don't know when I will come back. I don't want to go. I like our home and the work here." Zhang Chen was silent, sighed, and thought, yes, no matter what, they have finally stabilized in Hangzhou. Everything is unknown when they go to Shenzhen. Shenzhen can be used as a fallback, but not for now. Only way. Besides, even if I want to go now, I don't have the ability. Their money is still on the way, and they have to wait until it reaches Yongcheng and then go back to Yongcheng before I can get it. Okay, dear, I'm not that squeamish. If I get frostbite in Hangzhou, I have to go to Shenzhen. But if something happens in Shenzhen, will I have to go to the United States again?" Xiao Zhao held Zhang Chen's hand and smiled. "Road. Don't think about it anymore, okay?" Xiao Zhao held Zhang Chen's hands with both hands, looked at Zhang Chen with his eyes getting closer and closer, and asked repeatedly, "Okay, okay, 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 okay." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Okay." Xiao Zhao also laughed. Zhang Chen touched Xiao Zhao's red and swollen knuckles and asked, "Does it hurt?" "It doesn't hurt, it's a little itchy." Zhang Chen stood up and walked outside. Xiao Zhao was confused by him and shouted, "Hey, hey, what are you doing?" Zhang Chen said without looking back, "I'll come as soon as I go." "It's time to eat. Come back soon and come back to eat." Zhang Chen opened the bicycle parked in the gate, pushed it and walked out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 413. The shops on the street are now back to normal and are even open at night. Zhang Chen rode his bicycle to the nearest Federation of Trade Unions building. He walked to the daily necessities counter and bought Xiao Zhao clam oil, which is used to treat chilblains. I went to a place that sells gloves and bought a pair of leather gloves for myself and Xiao Zhao, to wear when riding. Zhang Chen saw a kind of woolen glove on the counter. It was half-cut. There were 5 holes for the 5 fingers. The fingers were exposed through the holes, but the palms were tightly wrapped. Zhang Chen thought to himself, little Zhao can wear it when he goes to work, which keeps him warm without affecting his work. Zhang Chen returned to the hunky hotel. Xiao Zhao was very happy when she saw the things he bought. She put on and took off her leather gloves and told Jiang Chen that she would not be afraid of falling when riding like this. Jiang Chen gave the woolen gloves to Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao opened his eyes wide and shouted, "How many did you buy?" 10 pairs. Why buy so many? I'm worried that you won't want to wear it because you're afraid of getting it dirty when you're working. Now that you've bought it, there's no way to return it. Don't be reluctant to wear it. Do you understand? Xiao Zhao nodded, I understand. Put it on quickly and try to see if it's warm. Xiao Zhao put on his gloves, flexed and released his 10 fingers, flexed and released them, slapped his palms twice, then stretched them out, rubbed them on Jiang Chen's face, and chuckled. It's very warm, thank you dear. The friction of the woolen gloves made Jiang Chen's face itchy. It was almost 9:30 when Ziyulian arrived. Anyway, it was like this every day. She didn't even want to explain that there was something urgent at home, and Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao didn't bother to listen. As soon as she came in, she shouted, Oyaki, you can go." That tone and look made it seem like she had arrived half an hour early, and they should have thanked her in turn. Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao didn't bother to argue with her, so they stood up and went out. At around 9 o'clock in the winter evening, Qingtai Street was already sparsely populated. In this weather, everyone went to bed early and got into a warm bed. Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao put on their new gloves. Jiang Chen patted the seat cushion of the bicycle and said to Xiao Zhao, "Come on, you come and ride." "Here? On the street?" Xiao Zhao was startled. Jiang Chen said, "Yes, what is the difference between here and the playground? You can also get familiar with the terrain. Besides, you will have to ride on the street sooner or later." When Xiao Zhao heard that it made sense, he thought to himself, there is no need to set aside time to learn to ride a bicycle. He can learn to ride a bicycle on the way to get off work. Xiao Zhao was riding a bicycle, and Jiang Chen was running behind him, reminding Xiao Zhao what to pay attention to while running. The ride on Qingtai Street ended and we reached the Qingtai overpass. When we were going uphill, Xiao Zhao stepped on it twice and couldn't move much anymore. The faucet began to swing from side to side. Jiang Chen quickly pushed behind. Xiao Zhao asked Jiang Chen, "Are you tired?" "Not tired." "Not tired," Jiang Chen said. Xiao Zhao pushed hard, thinking that Jiang Chen could save some energy this way. I rode to the bridge above and saw the Chengjian railway station under the bridge on the right. A train was coming into the station. Xiao Zhao shouted, "Train, train, dear, I want to see the train." Xiao Zhao got off the car, Jiang Chen took the car, lifted it to the sidewalk and parked it. The two of them leaned on the bridge railing and watched the train slowly stop on the brightly lit platform. The empty platform suddenly became lively. There were passengers getting on and off the train, passengers who had not yet arrived at the station and got off the train to have a smoke and fresh air, and hungry passengers who got off the train one after another. A small stall selling food was suddenly surrounded. As the two of them looked at each other, they thought of the scene when they arrived here that night. Xiao Zhao looked at the passengers on the platform and thought to himself, these people are really pitiful. They haven't arrived home yet and they have to continue on their way, but he is already here. In the city, they have their own home and their own job. When they get home, they will have a warm bed. When Xiao Zhao thought about this, she almost cried. She sniffed. Jiang Chen asked her what was wrong. Xiao Zhao shook his head and said it was nothing. Jiang Chen looked at her, Xiao Zhao also looked at Jiang Chen, and put his head on Jiang Chen's chest. Jiang Chen hugged her, and the two of them hugged and kissed each other for a long time on the bridge in this cold winter night. The sound of whistles sounded on the platform, and the train conductor held a handheld horn, calling passengers to get on the train. The lively platform suddenly became empty, and then there were bells ringing, the train whistled, and then there was another long whistle. After two short beeps, the good dong started. When the train passed under the overpass, white mist steamed up from below, engulfing the two hugging people and their bicycles. When the train drove away and the surroundings became quiet, the two people separated. Zhang Chen said softly, "Let's go." Xiao Zhao said yeah. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said that when going downhill, you should hold the brake with your hand and release it little by little. If you feel that the speed of the car is too fast, squeeze the brake, but don't squeeze it too fast or squeeze it to death. If you brake suddenly, you will fall. Xiao Zhao said okay, I understand. Zhang Chen followed behind, still uneasy, holding onto the school bag rack. When the speed was too fast, he pulled back and reminded Xiao Zhao to brake until he reached the bridge. On the section of Hanghai Road from Qingtai Overpass Bridge to Kaiyudao Road, there was no one in Sijiking at night, so Zhang Chen sat on the school bag rack with his legs crossed and let Xiao Zhao take him. After passing Kaiyudao Road, there were more and more cars on Hanghai Road. Zhang Chen got out of the car, and Xiao Zhao jumped out of the car. She didn't dare to ride anymore. She said, "There are so many cars, dear, you should ride it." Zhang Chen encouraged her and said, "It's okay, just keep riding and I'll follow." Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao to ride close to the roadside. He turned to the side of the bicycle closer to the center of the road, so that if something happened, he could hold the bike and prevent it from falling into the middle of the road. When the two of them arrived home, it was already past 11 o'clock. The journey that usually took them more than half an hour took them a full 2 hours, and Zhang Chen basically ran back with him. Xiao Zhao was very excited. She felt that riding a bicycle on the road was more exciting than riding on the school playground. She asked Zhang Chen, "Dear, am I good at riding a bicycle?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Of course, you have already ridden home from work." Xiao Zhao was so happy that he gave Zhang Chen a kiss. The next day, Zhang Chen went out early. Xiao Zhao lay on the bed and listened to Zhang Chen go downstairs. He said hello to the landlord and handed him a cigarette. The two stood chatting. Xiao Zhao moved his head to the pillow where Zhang Chen had slept. There was still Zhang Chen's breath on the pillow. Xiao Zhao sighed with satisfaction and fell asleep again. When she woke up, it was already past 10 o'clock. Xiao Zhao was surprised. She felt like she heard Zhang Chen's voice. She thought she heard it wrong and raised her ears. Yes, it was indeed Zhang Chen and the landlord. "Brother, let's chat in the yard below." Xiao Zhao sat up. She remembered that before she fell asleep, she heard Zhang Chen chatting with the landlord. Did he never leave? Why did he have so much to say? Or is it back again? But it's only around 10 o'clock now. Even if he comes back, he won't be so early. Xiao Zhao quickly got up, walked to the corridor at the door and looked down. She was shocked. She saw a brand new rose-red women's bicycle parked in the yard below. Zhang Chen was holding a wrench and removing all the screws on the bicycle one by one. He tightened it, and the landlord helped him hold the car. Xiao Zhao couldn't help shouting, and the two people below looked up. Before Zhang Chen could speak, the landlord shouted, "Come down quickly, you have a new bicycle to ride." Xiao Zhao quickly ran downstairs and took a closer look. He felt that the car was even more beautiful. This is a Hangzhou-made Angel women's bicycle. The front gear is a slanted arc. It is not like Zhang Chen's tripod with a horizontal gear. Xiao Zhao has to use his right foot very hard to get on and off the bike. When you lift up the rung from here to the other side, you always feel like you are in a hurry. But this one is very easy to get on and off the car. Where did this car come from? Xiao Zhao felt a little confused and asked. Zhang Chen and the landlord both laughed. "Of course I bought it," Zhang Chen said. "If he could steal such a new car, the thief would be rich," the landlord also said. Zhang Chen touched the middle of the handlebar and said to Xiao Zhao, "See, the steel seal has been stamped." He took out a small book with a dark blue plastic cover from his pocket and handed it to Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao saw that it was a bicycle driving license and opened it. His name was written inside, and Xiao Zhao couldn't help but laugh. "Look, I'm happy," the landlord smiled. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, "Sit on it and try it to see how high the seat is." Xiao Zhao sat on it and felt that the seat of this car was much more comfortable than Zhang Chen's. She pedaled and found that the car was much lighter than Zhang Chen's. She couldn't help but pedal a few more times and rode out of the yard. Zhang Chen ran out with a wrench in his hand. He said, "Go ride 2 laps on the playground." Xiao Zhao said yeah and rode towards the school playground. Zhang Chen ran behind. When he arrived at the school playground, Zhang Chen stopped, knowing that he no longer needed to follow. Xiao Zhao rode his bicycle faster and faster on the playground. He rode 5 or 6 laps. After each lap, when he came close to Zhang Chen, he rang a bunch of bells and giggled at the same time. Zhang Chen clapped his hands and praised her for riding well, and Xiao Zhao pedaled harder. "Thank you Mei and Leo for your monthly votes. Thank you to Tin Soldier, reading books every day, on the shore 131, and ranking third from top to bottom for your unremitting rewards. Thank you for every recommendation vote and everyone's subscription, thank you." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 414. Xiao Zhao rode for more than 10 laps before slowing down. When he arrived in front of Zhang Chen, he stopped the car and got off easily. "My dear, this car is so nice to ride. Why do I feel like I won't get off once I get on it?" Xiao Zhao was so excited that he was a little incoherent, and Zhang Chen laughed. "Do you like it?" Zhang Chen asked. "I like it, and it's this color," Xiao Zhao exclaimed. She finally thought of the most critical question and asked, "Honey, how much does this car cost?" 185. "Ah, it's so expensive. It costs me 1.5 months' salary." Xiao Zhao looked a little unhappy and said, "My dear, why did you buy such an expensive car? I'll give you a ride." I don't want to ride such an expensive car. I'll just go to the second-hand car market and buy an old car." Xiao Zhao pouted. No, Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "Think about it, the chain on an old car is easy to fall off. If you ride halfway and the chain falls off, is there anything you can do?" Xiao Zhao shook his head. "Also, that old car, 10 or 9 times, has no ring except the bell. In this car, except for the bell, have you heard any other ring?" Xiao Zhao shook his head again. As Zhang Chen spoke, he pressed the car bell and made a series of crisp sounds. "If you see it, ring the bell," Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao nodded. "And the most important thing?" Zhang Chen stopped talking halfway and just smiled. Xiao Zhao asked, "What is the most important thing?" Zhang Chen still laughed. Xiao Zhao said angrily, "Guo guo, just say it, just say it." Zhang Chen said, "How can my woman ride an old car?" Xiao Zhao giggled and said, okay, all 3 reasons are correct, but the last one is the most correct." "Ouch," Xiao Zhao suddenly shouted. "What's wrong?" Zhang Chen asked quickly. "Your woman ran out without even washing her face." Zhang Chen laughed loudly. After lunch, Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao, "Are you going to ride there by yourself, or should I take you? Now there are cars and people on the road, so why don't you take me with you?" Xiao Zhao thought of a question. She asked, "You went out in the morning and didn't ride a bike. Let's ride." "Then how did you get this car back?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "How did Hagen bring my car over, so I will bring your car back." "Ah, it turns out you can ride 2 cars together, that's awesome." "Of course," Zhang Chen said proudly, "adore me, right? Worship, worship, worship greatly." The 2 of them went downstairs. Zhang Chen unlocked the bike and was about to go out. However, Xiao Zhao stopped, staring at the new bicycle, feeling that he could no longer move his feet. Zhang Chen looked back, laughed, and said, "It's better to ride it, otherwise will you miss it?" Xiao Zhao nodded and said to Zhang Chen sadly, "Yes, I will think about it all day." "Then ride." Xiao Zhao hesitated, but there are so many cars and people on the road. Zhang Chen looked at his watch and said to Xiao Zhao, "It doesn't matter, it's still early. Let's ride slower. I'll ride beside you. Nothing will happen." "Really?" "Real." "Then I ride." "Good." Xiao Zhao took out the car keys from her bag and opened the lock. She held the handlebars with both hands, took a deep breath, and made up her mind, "Just ride, it's not a big deal if you fall, as long as you don't fall on the car." Zhang Chen almost laughed when he heard this. If he fell while riding a bicycle, he would only fall if he fell. However, Zhang Chen still comforted Xiao Zhao and said, "It's okay. This bicycle is not made of glass, ride." Xiao Zhao was riding a bicycle. He was very nervous at first. He squeezed the handlebars tightly with both hands and felt that his palms were sweating. After riding for a while, the small road ended on Hanghai Road and he felt that the road suddenly became wider. Xiao Zhao felt relieved when there were not as many cars and people on the road as he had imagined. The car lanes and sidewalks on Hanghai Road were not separated. Along the way, Zhang Chen rode on the inside of the road, separating Xiao Zhao from the cars on the highway. This made Xiao Zhao relax a lot. The two of them rode to the Hunky Hotel. Xiao Zhao pushed the cart in, and Zhang Chen continued to ride forward, but he was at a loss. He didn't know where he should go next. "Although I was confused, my feet didn't stop, and I kept riding forward, and involuntarily arrived at Woolen Square again." Zhang Chen passed the three-way intersection between Stadium Road and Yan'an Road and arrived at the intersection of Stadium Road and Exhibition Hall Road. He stood on tiptoes and stopped the car. He looked both ways. He had already visited the International Building on the left and Hangzhou on the right. "I have already been to Hangcheng Building, which is past the City Theater. Where else can I go next?" Zhang Chen sighed and decided to continue riding along Stadium Road in the direction of Hangzhou University to see if there were any hotels with companies inside. Zhang Chen rode forward for dozens of meters, and suddenly his eyes lit up. He saw the back door of the Hangcheng Theater, close to the Civil Aviation Building, and there was a bungalow built on the passage. The house was not big, 6 or 7 meters deep and wide. Half a meter wider than the rolling shutter door, on the lintel of the house hangs the words "Cultural Advertisement." Zhang Chen quickly got out of the car, pushed the bicycle to the sidewalk, parked it against a cement pole, locked it, took out the chain lock from the front basket, and locked the bicycle again. To the telephone pole. A passerby passed by, looked at it, smiled and shook his head. He must be wondering, is it necessary to add 2 locks to such a broken car in broad daylight? Zhang Chen has become accustomed to this kind of people and this kind of eyes these days. Zhang Chen thought to himself, how could you know that my car was borrowed? If it was stolen, he would have no way to explain it to others. Zhang Chen walked into the cultural advertisement with a picture folder on his back. Inside, there were 2 young people with long hair. They both looked like masters, as if they were afraid that others would not know that they were engaged in art. There is no desk in the house, only a wooden table 3 to 4 meters long and more than 1 meter wide, with a few stools scattered around. This wooden table is both their workbench and their office desk. 2 people, one for a ruler and a utility knife, were used to carve words on a piece of self-adhesive paper, and there was another person who was drawing something on the paper with a pen. When Zhang Chen walked in, neither of them raised their heads. Zhang Chen shouted, "Hello." The one who was painting raised his head, saw Zhang Chen carrying a painting folder, and asked, "Who introduced you here?" Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, then said, No one introduced me, I came here on my own." "Do you have business?" the other party asked right out of the gate. Zhang Chen was confused when asked, "What business?" The other party looked at him and ignored him. Jiang Chen stood there awkwardly, neither retreating nor advancing, and he didn't even know what to say when he spoke again. After 5 or 6 minutes like this, the carving man finished his work. He threw the utility knife on the table and picked up the cup to pour water, only to find that Jiang Chen was still standing at the door. He first walked inside and poured a glass of water, then walked out while drinking, walked up to Jiang Chen, and asked him, from the Academy of Fine Arts. Jiang Chen shook his head. What are you here for? Let me ask if you need anyone here. What can you do? I can do design, Jiang Chen said. The two people inside laughed. The one who was painting turned his head to look at Jiang Chen, shook his head, and then turned back to do his own business. The one standing took a sip of water and said to Jiang Chen, we all know how to design. The most important thing here is design. Then what do you lack? There is a lack of business. If you have business, come in and talk. If there is no business, go wherever you need to go. What kind of business? Light boxes, signboards, neon lights, outdoor advertisements, words on roofs, slogans on the street, anything can be used. You can buy and sell whatever you have, he said, flicking his long hair, motioning towards the wall, and continued. See for yourself. As long as it is listed on the business license, you can do it. You can take the business and do it yourself. When you want to sign a contract or issue an invoice, come to us and charge an 8-point service fee. Jiang Chen looked at the business license on the wall. The main business on the top is advertising, production and business conference services. The side business on the bottom is more than the main business, including retail and wholesale of stationery, hardware, daily chemical products, sugar and wine, pastries and other non-staple food, etc., a long list, a dazzling array. Jiang Chen has none of these businesses. Jiang Chen didn't know how he left there. He only felt that he came out of there, walked to the telephone pole, opened the chain lock, opened the bicycle lock, pushed the bicycle down the sidewalk, got on the bicycle and rode. At that time, the two masters must have been standing in the door, looking at him with mocking eyes. When they watch themselves opening locks one by one, they will definitely feel that they are more ridiculous monsters than those people. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 415. It was Xiao Zhao's turn for the morning shift. She had gotten up before 5 o'clock. Jiang Chen was also ready to get up and ride with her. Xiao Zhao held Jiang Chen down and said to him, "Go to sleep well. I have already ridden there and back, ride slower, it'll be okay." Xiao Zhao told Jiang Chen that she wanted to have a piece of Erchuan at noon today and asked Jiang Chen to send it to her at noon. "If you have something to do, don't rush over. I'll go to the snack bar and buy 2 buns," Xiao Zhao and Jiang Chen said. Jiang Chen thought to himself, what will happen to me? I am not running into obstacles everywhere. At 6 o'clock, Xiao Zhao went out on time. As soon as she left, Jiang Chen got out of bed. He was still worried and made up his mind to see Xiao Zhao off during the 3 morning shifts. After 3 days, nothing happened. You can safely let her ride alone. Anyway, I was in bed, thinking about things, and it was impossible to sleep well. The harder life gets, Jiang Chen feels that he and Xiao Zhao become more attached to each other. Is this the so-called sharing will and woe? Jiang Chen hurriedly put on his clothes and went downstairs. Xiao Zhao had already left the courtyard. At 6 o'clock in the winter, it was still dark. Jiang Chen rode out on his bike, stepped hard, and chased Xiao Zhao 10 meters away. He slowed down the car and felt that he was just following Xiao Zhao. Not letting Xiao Zhao know, I feel at ease, and I can also practice Xiao Zhao's ability to ride alone. If anything happens, I can get there in one go. Xiao Zhao was sitting on the car seat with her back straight and looking forward intently. It could be seen from her back that she was still very nervous and could not even bother to look back. Zhang Chen just followed her. It can't be found at all. Zhang Chen followed Hanghai Road. Although there are street lights here, because it is a suburb, the street lights are far apart. The cars on the road all have their high lights on, without caring about the feelings of cyclists on the roadside. Zhang Chen thought in his heart, cursing these drivers. He suddenly became nervous. He really wanted to catch up and ride side by side with Xiao Zhao, but he held back. Fortunately, when Xiao Zhao saw a large truck approaching from the opposite direction and her eyes were blinded by the headlights and she couldn't see anything clearly, she would get out of the car first and wait for the truck to pass before she got back on the road. Zhang Chen felt slightly relieved. After crossing Kaiyudao Road and riding 400 to 500 meters further, they arrived at Sijiking. Zhang Chen was startled. It was already a bit dark at this time. Sijiking was very different from the time they passed by it a few days ago. It was very lively, the stalls in the markets on both sides were open, and the road was crowded with buses from other places and people carrying large and small bags to buy goods. Although security guards were guiding these buses into the parking lot behind the market, the road was still blocked due to too many buses. Xiao Zhao got out of the car a long time ago and was pushing the cart on the sidewalk. Zhang Chen also got out of the car and followed her. From time to time there were people carrying bags. They couldn't see clearly what was going on around them and would bump into them. There were too many people and everyone was too impatient. The person who hit me didn't even bother to say sorry and disappeared into the crowd. Zhang Chen heard the crowds around him speaking with local accents and local dialects. He even heard someone behind him cursing in Yongcheng dialect. When he turned around, he couldn't figure out whose mouth the sound came from. It took them more than 10 minutes to walk over a short distance of more than 200 meters. After passing the Hangcheng water pump factory, the number of people began to decrease, and there were fewer people going this way. Across the road, coming from the direction of Qingtai overpass, there were many people, pulling carts or carrying bags. It looked like they had just gotten off the train and were rushing over to buy goods. Xiao Zhao got on the bike again after crossing Hanghai Road. When he reached the Qingtai overpass, he stopped riding halfway up and couldn't ride anymore. He jumped off the bike again and pushed the bike to the top of the bridge. It was going downhill, so Zhang Chen hurried forward, shortening the distance between them, and his heart was in his throat. Fortunately, when Xiao Zhao was going downhill, she kept remembering what he said and held the brakes, not daring to let the speed go too fast. Other cars whizzed past her, and when a guy rode alongside Xiao Zhao, he deliberately shook the car, which startled Xiao Zhao. He also shook the car, but luckily he did not fall. The guy turned to look at Xiao Zhao and laughed wildly, "Little girl, hurry up and chase me." Xiao Zhao cursed a gangster, and the guy let go of the handbrake, continued to slide down the slope with a smile, and rode away. Zhang Chen really wanted to catch up and punch this guy, but he still held back. Zhang Chen followed Xiao Zhao until he reached the intersection of Yashengguan Road. He stopped the car and did not turn right, for fear of being discovered by Xiao Zhao, so she would not let him follow her tomorrow no matter what. He stood at the intersection and watched Xiao Zhao get off the car at the entrance of the Hunky Hotel and push the car into the door. Zhang Chen then breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at the time and saw that it was still 4 or 5 minutes before 7 o'clock. It was so dangerous, and it was all caused by the road in Sijiking. At this time, Zhang Chen had nowhere to go. He thought about it and turned the car around at this intersection. He wanted to visit Sijiking and see what the place was like. When Zhang Chen arrived at Sijiking, he saw 3 markets in a row on the left side of the road, namely Sijiking Clothing Wholesale Market, Suhang Clothing City, and beyond that was Changqing Clothing Wholesale Market. Opposite Sijiking Clothing Wholesale Market, Hangzhou on the right side of the Sea Road, there is a pedestrian bridge. Walk over it and you will find the Sijiking Garment City. Zhang Chen parked his car in the parking lot between Sijiking Clothing Wholesale Market and Suhang Clothing City, locked the car, and went to Sijiking Clothing Wholesale Market first. On both sides of the narrow passage, there are stalls of 7 or 8 square meters. Each stall is filled with bundles of clothes. The stalls are near the door of the passage, and there are clothing models standing upright, so as not to be knocked down by people passing by. Some models also had a rope tied around their necks and connected to the door frame of the rolling shutter door. The standard configuration of each stall is a boss or proprietress and 2 salesmen, making the already crowded stall even more crowded. The boss or proprietress sits at a small table inside and is responsible for the cashier. The 2 salesmen stand at between the stalls and the aisles. They are responsible for soliciting business and shipping goods. They are all wearing the clothes being sold in the stalls today. The passage was crowded with customers pulling small carts to buy goods. Zhang Chen walked through the crowd and saw stalls on both sides with different businesses. Stores with good business are crowded with people at the door. Everyone holds a wad of money in their hands and shouts, "Give me a few items in size S, a few items in size M, a few items in size L, or simply 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 6, 3, every color is matched." The stores with the best business are almost rushing to buy goods. The store owners are afraid of people crowding into the store, so they simply pull down the roller shutters halfway. The proprietress hangs her wallet around her neck or wraps a belt bag around her waist. While collecting money, she opens the door from the half-open door. The door faces outside to deliver goods, and 2 salesmen stand outside the door, receiving the goods and collecting money at the same time. As soon as the goods arrived in their hands, they were immediately snatched away. Some customers started arguing over whether the clothes were yours or mine. At such a stall, the boss will personally take action. He will stand outside and keep an eye on it to prevent anyone from taking the opportunity to take the goods and sneak away without paying. In just a few dozen minutes, all the goods in the store were sold out. Both the proprietress and the salesperson had their voices hoarse by now. They looked like they had just experienced a war and were a little exhausted, but their faces and hearts were filled with excitement. Be happy. After finishing the morning market, they had time to have breakfast. For such stalls, there are often stalls next to or opposite that have little business. The stalls are filled with clothes. Both the proprietress and the waiters will look at their neighbors coldly with hostile eyes, squint their faces, and scold them in an evil voice. Those who were rushing to buy goods met the models at their door. From time to time, the salesperson will call, "Come and take a look, the new spring clothes, the hottest items that have just been launched." But customers took one look inside their store and didn't stop. In the same market, some people are happy and some are sad. Zhang Chen shook his head. There are also stalls, and the store is full of clothes, but neither the boss nor the salesperson is in a hurry. They are waiting for their regular customers. These regular customers are merchants from wholesale markets all over the country. They wholesale the clothes here and then wholesale them to retailers. The regular customers came and packed a dozen large woven bags, and the stores immediately emptied out. Even though they were inconspicuous and seemed to have little business, their daily shipment volume was no better than those who were rushing to buy goods. There are few shops. What's more, when they opened the door, there were no clothes in the store. Instead, there were piles of packed woven bags. On the woven belts, Zhengzhou Asia, Harbin Kayulan, Zhengzhou Asia and Harbin Kayulan were written in markers. Chongqing Kaoshanman and so on. Their customers didn't even come. They were waiting for the people in the market who specialized in pulling goods to come, take the goods to the shipping department, and send them out directly. Thank you book friend 1309222213433103 for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 416. Time passed quickly. Zhang Chen was strolling around the market. Unknowingly, it was past 9 o'clock. Zhang Chen left Sijiking and went to the Federation of Trade Unions building. The 3 floors below the Federation of Trade Unions building are department stores. The 4th and 5th floors above are restaurants and hotels, and the remaining 3 floors are office buildings. Zhang Chen went to the 2 companies inside but found nothing. When he came out, he saw the building opposite the Zhonghe River, which was Hangzhou City Garment Import and Export Company, and wondered if they would recruit people here. Zhang Chen looked at the time and saw that it was already 11 o'clock. It was definitely inappropriate to go to someone else's company at this time. He would go to the noodle shop on Huixing Road first to buy noodles for Xiao Zhao and come back in the afternoon. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao ate noodles together at the Hunky Hotel. Xiao Zhao saw Zhang Chen secretly yawning while sitting, so he asked him to go to the bed in the duty room to sleep for a while. Zhang Chen said he wouldn't sleep anymore and would return in the afternoon. Want to go out? It was afternoon. If you go now, you don't have a workplace to work, Xiao Zhao said. Zhang Chen was right when he thought about it. Besides, it wouldn't be good for him to go to someone else's work so listlessly. Zhang Chen said to Xiao Zhao, then you call me at 1 o'clock. Xiao Zhao said yes, you can sleep peacefully. When Zhang Chen woke up, he was surprised. He saw that Sister Gihua had come to take over. She and Xiao Zhao were sitting there chatting. Zhang Chen looked at his watch and saw that it was already past 2 o'clock, so he quickly got up. Xiao Zhao looked at him and smiled, why are you so sleepy? When I was 1 o'clock, I saw you sleeping like a pig, so I didn't call you. Zhang Chen chuckled and didn't explain. He picked up his backpack and picture folder and prepared to go out. Xiao Zhao told him, go ahead. I'll work with Sister Gihua here, and we'll go home together when you come back. Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen arrived at the Hangzhou City Garment Import and Export Company on Zhonghe Road. At the door below the building, he was stopped by the old man in the reception room. The old man asked him where he was from, and Zhang Chen said he was from Yongcheng. Are you from Yongcheng Knitting Factory? Do you have a work permit or letter of introduction? The old man asked. Zhang Chen knew that there was indeed a knitting factory in Yongcheng. It seemed that they had a business relationship with this company, but he had no relationship with them at all. Zhang Chen told the old man that he was not from Yongcheng Knitting Factory, but from Yongcheng. Came here to find a job. When the old man heard this, he took back the visitor's register that had been spread out for Zhang Chen to register, and told Zhang Chen, go, what kind of job are you looking for here? The salesmen here are all assigned by college students. If you can speak Japanese and American words, can you speak them? I don't think you can either. Then there are no other jobs, Zhang Chen asked. Other jobs? The old man rolled his eyes at him and said angrily, every other job here has to be entered through the back door. Do you have a back door? Huh, if there is a back door, you can go straight in and out. You don't need to register with me. Okay, let me tell you, I'm here to look after the door because my son is from the Shangcheng District Tax Bureau. Do you understand? Let's go, let's go. Zhang Chen had no choice but to leave there in frustration. Zhang Chen continued riding along Huaxing Lane, which is across the Zhonghe Road from Zhonghe Road. After riding for 5 or 6 minutes, he saw a yard with 2 signs hanging at the door, one saying Hangzhou City Planning Bureau and the other it is the Hangzhou Urban Planning and Design Institute. What made Zhang Chen's eyes brighten was that beside the 2 vertical wooden signs with black characters on a white background, which looked like public institutions, there was also a square bronze plate with Zinc and Decoration Co., Limited engraved on it. Zhang Chen almost laughed out loud. He had a feeling that he had finally found an organization. Isn't this the unit he had been looking for? Unexpectedly, he couldn't find it after trying hard to find it. It took no effort at all. People were coming and going at the entrance of the courtyard, and there was someone guarding the reception room inside the door, but that man, with a pair of reading glasses on his nose, lowered his head and was reading a newspaper, didn't care about the people coming and going outside the window. Zhang Chen was pushing his bicycle. Walked into the yard, and saw a 6-story main building facing the gate, and a 3-story auxiliary building across it. At the door of the main building, there is a wooden sign that says Hangzhou City Planning Bureau. At the door of the auxiliary building, there is Hangzhou City Planning and Design Institute. On the wall next to the sign, there are 4 words New City Decoration. Large red plexiglass characters. Zhang Chen looked around. There was a bicycle shed close to the reception room. Zhang Chen parked his bicycle in the shed. When he parked his bicycle here, there was no need to add a chain lock. The lock was placed in the basket to avoid being taken away. Zhang Chen put the chain lock into his backpack. The door of the annex building was opened at the end of the house against the courtyard wall. Zhang Chen walked in. Inside was a small hall. Opposite the door was a staircase. There was a piece of paper pasted at the entrance of the stairs, which read, City Planning and Design Institute, no idlers are allowed to enter. On the left side of the small hall, there is an open door with Zinc and Decoration Co., Limited posted on it. It seems that the piece of paper at the top of the stairs is a warning to people who come to this company not to accidentally enter the Design Institute upstairs, disturbing their purity. Zhang Chen walked into Zinc and Decoration Co., Limited. What he saw inside was a large conference room or a converted dining hall. There was a large office area at the entrance, and 3 small offices at the end. To the left of the entrance was a set of sofas and coffee tables. There is a newspaper rack and a stainless steel cylindrical trash can on the side. It seems that this is a reception area and a negotiation area. Zhang Chen looked at the simple and shabby decoration inside, and secretly smiled bitterly in his heart. What kind of decoration company? You can't decorate yourself first, how can you convince the customers who come to discuss business? There are more than 20 desks in the large office area, with different heights and styles. It looks like they have been pieced together here and there. Half of the desks are occupied by people working. When Zhang Chen walked in, they barely even raised their heads. Zhang Chen walked to the nearest table, and there was a young man of similar age sitting there, immersed in pasting the receipts and bus tickets behind an expense account, apparently preparing for reimbursement. Zhang Chen said, "Hello, may I ask?" "Go sit over there," the other party said without raising his head, pointing to the sofa. Zhang Chen returned to the sofa and sat down. He thought that the other party was asking him to wait here until he finished the work at hand and then come to receive him. Zhang Chen sat there and waited patiently while the young man whistled and worked. After working for 5 or 6 minutes, he finally glued all the documents together. He then got up and walked to the corner of the office, borrowed a calculator from a little girl, walked back and sat down, took a pen and paper, and counted the glued receipts and tickets while writing on the paper and calculating. After calculating everything on the machine, I turned over the reimbursement voucher with the attached document and filled in the contents on the front. He was busy like this for more than 10 minutes, and finally he was done. He pressed the calculator to calculate it again. Yes, he crossed his palms with satisfaction and clapped his hands. He stood up, walked over and returned the calculator to the little girl, walked back, sat down, picked up the reimbursement voucher, looked at it, put it in the middle drawer of the desk, locked the drawer, stood up again, and looked towards this come along. Zhang Chen thought that he was busy this time and had time to receive him, so he quickly stood up. The young man came over and walked out of the door without looking at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen looked at his back and turned right and walked into the yard outside. Zhang Chen was a little angry and helpless, thinking that he probably went to the toilet and could only wait for him to come back. Zhang Chen sat there for another 10 minutes, but the guy disappeared and never appeared at the door again. Zhang Chen stood up and saw the little girl walking towards her. Zhang Chen stopped to meet her and said to her, "Hello, may I ask?" The little girl looked at him, pointed to the sofa, and said to him, "Wait a minute, sit down for a while." After saying that, she walked out of the door and turned left to go upstairs. Zhang Chen changed his position and sat on the sofa where he could see the stairs, instead of the one facing the office area. After 5 or 6 minutes, the little girl's figure appeared at the top of the stairs. Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. She finally didn't disappear like that guy. The little girl was wiping her hands with a tissue as she walked. It seemed that the person who went upstairs was going to the toilet. That guy simply left himself here. He didn't know where he went. Zhang Chen stood up. The little girl came in, crumpled the tissue in her hand, and threw it into the trash can. She looked at Zhang Chen and asked, "What can I do for you?" Zhang Chen said to her, "I used to do decoration design. I am a designer. I came here to ask, do you still need anyone here?" "Oh, are you here to apply for a job?" "Yep." "Wait a minute." The little girl turned around and shouted towards the office area, "Hey, do you know if we are still recruiting people here?" Someone shouted, "Ask the boss about this kind of thing." "The boss isn't here," the little girl said. No one in the office paid attention to her or Zhang Chen anymore. The little girl thought for a moment and said to Zhang Chen, "Only our manager knows this, but our manager is not here today." "Okay, thank you. Then may I ask, when will he be here?" "Tomorrow, he will come tomorrow morning, or you can come again tomorrow morning." Zhang Chen quickly said yes, thank you. Zhang Chen pushed his bicycle out of the gate. At the gate, he met the guy who was walking in from the door. Without even looking at Zhang Chen, he shouted into the reception room, "Old man Min, do you have my letter? There's a fart, do you want to eat it?" The old man in the reception room cursed. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 417. In the early morning of the next day, Xiao Zhao got up at 5:30. She also realized that she was too nervous yesterday and was almost late. Ziyulian is on the evening shift, and Xiao Zhao is the one who takes over from her. When Xiao Zhao arrived yesterday, it was clearly 5 minutes before 7 o'clock. She acted as if Xiao Zhao was 50 minutes late, with a dark face and a sinister tone. "Yes, I was also deliberately heavy-handed in packing and handing over things, just to show it to Xiao Zhao." Xiao Zhao deliberately went early today, not because he was afraid of her, but because he felt that there was no need for tension between colleagues because of such a trivial matter. Xiao Zhao poured out a bowl of porridge from the thermos bottle. This was the method Zhang Chen taught her. Zhang Chen and his troop often do this when they are outside. Before going to bed at night, they fill half a bottle of boiling water into a thermos, and then put a few handfuls of rice in it. When they wake up the next morning, the rice in the thermos has been stewed into porridge and is still hot. Sarang. Xiao Zhao took a salted duck egg and cut it in half. He left half for Zhang Chen and the other half. He picked it up on the porridge with chopsticks. Then he went downstairs to wash his face and brush his teeth. He also took the spittoon behind the door and poured it out for washing. And brought it back. When she came back, the porridge on the table was no longer hot. She sat down and drank the porridge in big gulps. Zhang Chen had actually woken up a long time ago and deliberately closed his eyes to pretend to be asleep. Xiao Zhao hurriedly finished the porridge, stood up, put on his backpack, and then walked over. Seeing that Zhang Chen was still asleep, he smiled softly, tapped his forehead with his finger, and said angrily, "Dead pig, smelly dead pig." She bent down and touched Zhang Chen's lips. Zhang Chen suddenly wrapped his hands around her neck. Xiao Zhao exclaimed oh, and her lips were kissed by Zhang Chen. The two kissed for a while, and Zhang Chen wanted to take her to the bed. Xiao Zhao pushed Zhang Chen away with his hand and shouted, "No, no, I'm going to be late." Zhang Chen let go of his hands and said to her, "Don't be anxious, ride slower on the road." Xiao Zhao said "Sleep well, don't be naughty." Xiao Zhao said to Zhang Chen, walked out of the door, and turned off the lights in the room. When the sibiling lock on the door clicked, Zhang Chen rolled out of bed and didn't dare to turn on the light. He put on his clothes and pants in the dark, put on his backpack and picture folder, and heard the sound of the courtyard door downstairs. Xiao Zhao after the cart went out, Zhang Chen quickly went out and went downstairs. Still the same as yesterday, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao kept a distance of more than 10 meters and followed her. Under the dim street lights, Zhang Chen saw that Xiao Zhao's figure was obviously much more relaxed and less tense than yesterday. When he arrived at Hanghai Road, when he encountered a large truck with its high headlights on, Xiao Zhao didn't jump out of the car quickly and stood there waiting for the truck to pass by. Instead, he just slowed down the speed. Zhang Chen followed him all the way to the intersection of Yashengguan and did not continue to follow. He saw Xiao Zhao getting off the car at the entrance of the Hunky Hotel and pushing the car through the door. Zhang Chen looked at his watch. It was still a minute or two before 6:30. Zhang Chen nodded with satisfaction. He felt that Xiao Zhao was ready to go. Zhang Chen was too lazy to go home, so he decided to go shopping in Sijiking. The steaming market was better than going to the edge of the West Lake, blowing the cold wind, and watching Aqua and the other men and women dance the national standard 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yesterday, Zhang Chen went to the Sijiking Clothing Wholesale Market, Suhang Clothing City and Changqing Clothing Wholesale Market on the left side of Hanghai Road. Today he parked his bicycle where he parked yesterday and crossed over the pedestrian bridge to the Sijiking Garment City opposite. The size of Sijiking Clothing City is smaller than the three markets over there, and the passages are much smoother than there. Zhang Chen feels that shopping here is much more comfortable than there. You can't stop there at all. Just stopped on the passage, either being pushed away, or being told to give way, give way. Here, Zhang Chen felt that he could browse and watch at the same time. The sound in the market here is much quieter than that there. There are no stalls competing with each other to suppress the shouts of others, "Look, look, come in and take a look." Zhang Chen saw that even if there were 4 or 5 people picking up goods in many stalls, everyone spoke softly and skillfully, as if they were suppressing their voices and plotting something, and quickly picked up the goods and checked out. The loudest words were heard in the passage. The sound was the sound of customers saying goodbye to the stall owner after picking up the goods, and the stall owner saying to walk slowly. There is also the sound of a hand-drawn cart being pulled through the passage, making a grunting sound. Whether they are buyers or sellers, everyone seems to have reached a tacit understanding. It seems that the customers have just experienced a fierce battle there and have withdrawn from their positions and come here. They need to clean up and pick up some goods. Zhang Chen discovered that the standard equipment here is also different from that over there, that is, there is usually only one proprietress and one salesperson here, instead of 2 or even more like there. Zhang Chen also discovered an interesting phenomenon. In fact, there is also a market over there. But yesterday, he felt that he was in such a messy environment. Zhang Chen was a little confused and had no time to pay attention. Today, he noticed it. He saw some models in the stalls. The front faces the inside of the store, and outside the store, you can only see their backs. To see clearly what they are wearing, you have to go inside the stall. Zhang Chen saw a long-sleeved shirt in a light lotus color at a stall in the aisle. Zhang Chen felt that this color would look good on Xiao Zhao and would make her skin fairer. Zhang Chen couldn't help but walked into the store. He saw from the front that the style of this shirt was also very novel and unique. Inside the stall, the salesperson went to the restroom, and the proprietress was the only one sitting at the table, eating noodles. When she saw Zhang Chen come in, she stood up, still holding chopsticks in her hand. Zhang Chen asked her, "How much does this shirt cost?" 22. I want it. There are 3 colors and 3 sizes. How many do you want? I want this color, give me a small one. How many? 1 piece. Yes. Let's go out, the lady boss said impatiently, waving her chopsticks in her hand. Zhang Chen was also a little annoyed. He said, "Why are you like this? I'm buying clothes. Get out, I won't sell it to you." The landlady shouted at Zhang Chen. At this moment, an old customer came in. The landlady immediately smiled brightly at her and said, "Here." Ignore Zhang Chen no more. Zhang Chen could only leave in disbelief. Zhang Chen continued to walk around the market, but he kept thinking about that shirt. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this shirt was perfect for Xiao Zhao, as if it existed just for Xiao Zhao. On a bright spring afternoon, if Xiao Zhao wears it and rides on her new bicycle, she will definitely turn heads on the road. Oh, what a pity, that vicious boss lady actually refused to sell. Damn it, how come there are still businessmen in this world who don't do business even though they have business? Zhang Chen was thinking wildly, with regrets filling his mind. He wandered around in other places for more than 10 minutes, and by some strange coincidence, he came to that passage again. He saw the back of the shirt from a distance, and he was attracted to it again. There were 2 customers in the stall. They had taken the goods and were settling accounts with the proprietress. The salesperson had also returned from using the restroom and was standing at the door of the stall. Seeing Zhang Chen stop in front of the stall, the salesperson said, "Come in and take a look." Zhang Chen walked in. The salesperson pointed to the models facing inside and said to Zhang Chen, "They are all popular models that have just been launched. Which one do you like?" Zhang Chen reached out and touched the shirt on the model. He felt that the fabric felt very good, a bit like silk, but not silk. It was very drapey and would not wrinkle as easily as a silk shirt. "This is the one I'm interested in," Zhang Chen said to the salesperson. Before the salesperson could speak, the landlady who was settling the accounts looked up and saw Zhang Chen. She became furious and cursed, "Why are you here again? Get out of here." The 2 customers also turned around and looked at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen's face suddenly turned red, he felt panicked, and he quickly wanted to escape from the stall. The proprietress jumped up from her stool, took a few quick steps over, grabbed Zhang Chen's arm, and shouted, "Don't leave. Which market and stall are you from? Are you here to steal copies? What are you stealing? What did I steal from you? I came in and didn't touch anything." She was watching from the side. Zhang Chen was stunned by the boss's wife's scolding and hurriedly pointed to the salesperson and defended. "I came here once before and said I wanted to buy something. I saw it was not a good thing, so I kicked him out. But he didn't give up and he came again," the landlady said to the 2 customers, and they also expressed disdain. He looked at Zhang Chen with his eyes. Zhang Chen became anxious and shouted, "Why are you insulting me? What did I steal from you?" The salesperson sneered, "Then what do you do? Are you here to purchase goods? Where is your card?" I'm not here to buy goods." Zhang Chen felt that he couldn't argue. He just felt that these people were so unreasonable and unreasonable. People from the nearby stalls also gathered around and asked the salesperson what was going on. The salesperson told them. As soon as they heard this, they blocked the door and Zhang Chen couldn't get out even if he wanted to. "That's right, this person is here to steal the edition. He must be from the old market, I haven't seen him in this market. These people who steal copies are so hateful, don't let them go. Go call security, go call security. Search his bag. There must be a camera hidden in his bag." Everyone shouted in all directions. Thank you Void Sleeping Dream for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 418. Before Zhang Chen understood what was going on, the bag on his back was snatched away and handed to the proprietress. The proprietress opened the cover of the bag, held the bottom of the bag with both hands, lifted it up, and swished the bag. Everything inside was dumped on the table, and there was no camera inside. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and there was a brief silence. A customer leaned over and whispered a few words into the proprietress's ear. The proprietress nodded and shouted, "Bring the one he carries on his back. He is a painter. He must have drawn many clothes styles in it." The salesperson came to pick up the picture folder that Zhang Chen was carrying. Zhang Chen grabbed the strap of the picture folder and twisted his shoulders to prevent her from taking it. Immediately, many hands stretched out and grabbed his hand. Zhang Chen's face flushed red and he was extremely embarrassed. Although he was very angry, he had nothing to do. He was surrounded by a group of women. If he were a man, he would have punched him, but with so many women pulling him, holding his wrists, and twisting his fingers, he suddenly felt helpless. "I don't know what to do, but I can only howl like a trapped animal." But no one paid attention to his struggling and howling. He was grabbed by countless women's hands and unable to move. His painting folder was finally taken away. Someone opened the painting folder and couldn't hold it steady. The renderings inside fell out. On the ground. Everyone saw exquisite paintings all over the place, all of which were various buildings, but there were no styles of clothing. When Zhang Chen saw his paintings scattered on the floor, he shouted anxiously, "Don't touch my paintings, don't touch my paintings." Someone looked at the paintings on the ground, then looked at Zhang Chen, and finally felt compassion, and said, "This pirate is very good at painting." She bent down to pick up all the paintings on the ground, and held them in her hands. He waved and told Zhang Chen, "Did you see that? We are not messing around." She put the painting on the table. The landlady was a little discouraged when she saw that there were no clothing styles in it, but she immediately thought of it and shouted, "Look, the drawing is correct. You come here again and again, and you still look at it so carefully. Have you memorized all the styles? Stay here and draw it again when you go back." She seemed to be asking Zhang Chen or everyone else. Zhang Chen felt deeply humiliated and his eyes were red. He finally understood what they meant by piracy. It turned out that they meant that he secretly drew down the styles of clothing. Zhang Chen cursed loudly. "What's the point of painting on your shabby clothes? All the clothes I draw with my feet are prettier than yours." "Humph, you can draw it yourself, and why are you here to steal the copy?" the landlady said disdainfully. I didn't steal," Zhang Chen still couldn't move his hands and could only argue with his mouth. "The fat captain is here," someone shouted in the passage. The market security captain was patrolling the market with a security guard. Hearing that something was going on here, he ran over quickly. Let him go quickly." The fat security captain running in front entered the stall, took one look at Zhang Chen, and shouted to those people. Those people were stunned, and the captain yelled, "Are they humming deaf? Let him go, I know him." When the captain yelled like this, he let go of Zhang Chen's hand. Zhang Chen also wondered, how could the security guard here know him? He looked again and couldn't help shouting, "Brother Hagen." It turns out that the security captain is Sister Gihua's husband Hagen. "Why are you here?" Hagen looked at Zhang Chen and asked strangely. Zhang Chen felt something blocked in his throat and swallowed hard before he could make a sound. He said aggrievedly, "Xiao Zhao had the morning shift, and I took her to the work. On the way back, I came in to take a look. I saw a piece of clothing here that suited Xiao Zhao very well, so I wanted to buy it. But they wouldn't sell it to me, and they said I was here secretly." He just came to steal copies, Captain Fat, said the landlady. The first time he came in, he said he wanted to buy a dress, but I didn't sell it to him. After a while, he came again and looked around at the dress. Isn't it a stolen copy or something? Ask him to tell you honestly and see which stall in the old market he is from. Stealing your mother's stupidity, Hagen scolded. His girlfriend and my wife work in the same company. They live in my cousin's house in Sanbeo. Do you know him or do I know him? They are not in business at all. What kind of thing are you stealing? Are you stealing from others and feeding them? Isn't it allowed for them to go to the market on their way back to Sanbeo? Is it not allowed for them to buy some clothes for their girlfriend? Are you talking nonsense? After hearing what Hagen said, everyone fell silent, and Hagen continued to curse. How many times have we told you in the market that you should do business in a civilized manner, but you treat your customers like this? Do you believe I will pull down your rolling shutter? When the people at the stalls nearby heard what Hagen said, they all slipped back quietly. The two customers also picked up their handcarts and said they were leaving and walked out. Hagen pointed to Zhang Chen's bag and picture folder, and said to the landlady, "Pack his things quickly." The landlady was still angry and sat motionless. The salesperson quickly put all the things and paintings on the table into Zhang Chen's bag and painting folder. She handed the bag and picture folder to Hagen, who took it in his hand. He said to the landlady, "I'll come to you later to settle the score." He hung the bag and picture folder back on Zhang Chen's shoulder, and said to Zhang Chen, "Let's go." Hagen hugged Zhang Chen and walked to the door of the market. He asked Zhang Chen, "You haven't had breakfast, have you?" Zhang Chen nodded. "Come on, let's go have breakfast and chat while eating. There was a misunderstanding today." "Hi." Hagen led Zhang Chen to a small alley next to the market. There was a wonton stall there. When the boss saw Hagen and the others coming, he called the captain and quickly cleared a table. The two of them sat down. "Jen," he boss said. "2 bowls of wontons and 2 small steamed buns." The boss said yes and immediately brought up 2 cages of steamed buns, along with 2 small plates and 2 pairs of chopsticks. Hagen and Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Come on, let's eat something to calm down." The two of them added soy sauce and vinegar to a small plate. Zhang Chen took the hot sauce jar and asked Hagen, "Brother Hagen, do you want it?" Hagen shook his head, "I don't dare to eat it." Zhang Chen added a spoonful for himself. "Brother Hagen, thank you," Zhang Chen said, "if it weren't for you today, I really don't know how long I would have been entangled with those women." Hagen smiled and said, "Aren't the women in this market quite aggressive?" "More than being aggressive, if I am really what they say, that pirate, and if they find out anything, I will probably be torn to pieces by them," Zhang Chen said with a bitter smile. "By the way, Brother Hagen, why are you here?" "Here? The land here used to be our village's vegetable plot. The land was expropriated, so we came to this market to work as security guards." Zhang Chen nodded and understood. "Actually, it's not easy for them either. You have to understand them." Hagen and Zhang Chen said, "You don't know that in this market, there are really many people who steal copies. Think about it, you have finally managed to get a good selling style in a quarter, and you still expect to make a profit based on this style, make money. It turns out that these counterfeiters have stolen your styles and mass-produced them, especially those in the old market. They have better booth seats and more customers than you, and the market must be wider than yours. If they sell it there, you will sell it here, it will definitely stop moving. Not to mention making money, your best-selling products will turn into overstocked products in an instant, and you will lose a lot of money. So in this market, if you encounter those who come to steal copies, to put it bluntly, you have the intention to kill them." Zhang Chen nodded, understanding why those people had such a big reaction. He said, "I understand. Is it because they put the model facing inward to prevent others from stealing copies?" "Yes, At least this will work as a starting point. We are all in the market, and we often bump into each other when we walk around. If we don't know each other, at least our faces are familiar. If this pirate passes by the door and looks secretly, there is nothing he can do. You can't say that other traders can't even pass by your door, but if they walk into your stall, you will be more vigilant. I understand, this is indeed a way, Zhang Chen said. It's not actually of much use, Hagen said. Business owners try their best to prevent theft of copies. Today, your copy is stolen. Tomorrow, you may be stealing someone else's copy. The people are very chaotic. What are the tricks? There are many. For example, when the goods are being loaded in the morning, he will hide aside and secretly look at what he is looking at to see which garment factory is processing it for you. Then he will go to the garment factory privately and place an order bigger than yours. This clothing factory is also mercenary, right? There are also unauthentic clothing factories that will deliberately disclose your hot products to others in order to get more orders. Also, aren't you a person from the anti-market? Then call a customer with whom you have a good relationship and ask him to come to you and bring in a dozen pieces of clothing. Keep one as a sample and send the others to he used himself as a model for customers across the country and ask them to place orders. He copied it within a few days and put it on the market in wholesale markets across the country, very quickly. As Hagen said, Zhang Chen nodded frequently. Unexpectedly, underneath the superficial prosperity of the clothing market, there were so many intrigues, which were really hard to guard against. Zhang Chen now felt a little sympathy for the landlady. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 419. The wontons were ready and the boss served them to them. When Hagen saw that Zhang Chen had finished all the steamed dumplings, he told the boss that he wanted another steamed bun. Zhang Chen quickly said, enough is enough. What's enough is enough? This small steamed bun is in my stomach and doesn't take up much space. Look, it's already my second breakfast. When I came to work at 5 o'clock, I had already eaten one. Hagen photographed talking to his stomach. Zhang Chen laughed. By the way, Brother Hagen, how come they think I'm a pirate? I really didn't do anything, Zhang Chen asked in confusion. Hagen took a bite of the wontons and felt that they were not sour enough, so he added some vinegar and tasted enough. Then he stopped the spoon, looked at Zhang Chen and said with a smile. Why? That's because you look too much like a pirate. Look at the people who come here to buy goods, who are not pulling carts and carrying big bags of goods. If you just enter someone else's stall empty-handed, people will know at a glance that you are not buying goods. Also, this is a wholesale market. Wherever someone comes to buy clothes, they will buy one. If you are selling clothes, you should at least match the size and color. If you buy one, the first reaction of people will be to buy sample clothes. If they don't sell to you, they will kick you out. Even retail customers will never enter their store again. It's good for you. Not only did you go back, but you also stared at the clothes and touched and looked at them. You are not stealing. Yes, who is stealing the copy? Hagen asked this, and Zhang Chen also laughed. Yes, when he said it this way, he did look like a pirated copy. I just thought that dress was particularly suitable for Xiao Zhao, so I walked in again, Zhang Chen said. I know, how do they know? Is there no retail in this market? Zhang Chen asked. Yes, but no one who knows about it will come in the morning, and no one will pay attention to you when you come. If you come in the afternoon, when they are happy, the price will be a few dollars higher than the wholesale price, and they might even sell it to you. Anyway, by the afternoon, it will still be there. There will be some, but they won't be the best-selling ones. They just deal with the inventory. Also, there are more people who come here to buy clothes for free. What two kinds of people? One is the local girls in Hangzhou. They speak the local dialect and don't come early in the morning. They come early in the morning to buy clothes. There are also the train conductors from all over the country who come from the Chengjian railway station. But they all wear conductor uniforms, and they come in twos and threes. They buy several pieces at a time, and they treat them like small customers. As for you, you are neither of the two. As Hagen said something, he thought of something. He asked, by the way, do you still want that dress? You want me to take you there to buy it? No, if you do this, you will lose all interest, Zhang Chen said with a bitter smile. By the way, brother Hagen, don't you want to? You know, don't tell Osman thus fragrans, right? Hagen asked, and Zhang Chen smiled sheepishly, that's right, Sister Gihua, don't tell her either. What I originally wanted to say was, that boss lady, don't look for her again. Are you afraid that I will settle the score with her? Hagen sighed and patted Zhang Chen on the shoulder. Little brother, Gihua is right, you two are still kind. Don't worry, I just said that, everyone in the market, if you don't look up when you see someone, how can I really go to find trouble for someone? This matter will be over in the past, don't you think? Yes, Zhang Chen nodded quickly. After such a torment, it was already past 8 o'clock when Zhang Chen and Hagen broke up. He simply rode home, washed his face and brushed his teeth, tidied himself up again, and rode out again. General units in Hangzhou start work at 8:30 in the morning. It is neither too early nor too late. Zhang Chen chose around 9:30 and rushed to the Zinc and Decoration Co., Limited in Huaxing Lane. When Zhang Chen walked in, the guy from yesterday looked up at him, then lowered his head and went about his own business. It seemed that he had never remembered that there was such a person as Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen walked directly to the little girl in the corner. The little girl still knew him. When she saw him, she stood up and turned to look at the other corner. The manager's office door was open and told Zhang Chen, you and me, I come. The little girl took Zhang Chen to the door of the manager's office, stood at the open door and shouted, boss, there is an applicant. The manager looked up at her and said, what the hell, we're not hiring anyone. They came here yesterday afternoon. Okay, let him in. The little girl stepped aside, nodded to Zhang Chen, and went back to her seat. Zhang Chen said thank you to her and walked into the manager's office. The manager was a middle-aged man in his 40s, not tall, with a crew cut. When he saw Zhang Chen come in, he asked, it's you? Yes, hello manager. Who told you we were recruiting people here? Oh, I passed by the outside gate yesterday and saw your company. I wanted to come in and ask. The manager happened to be away, so I will come again today. The manager looked at Zhang Chen. He also heard Zhang Chen saying thank you to the little girl in front of him. He felt that the young man was very polite and not annoying at all. Have you ever done decoration before? The manager asked. Zhang Chen said yes, I was still in the decoration company before the Spring Festival. What work? Zhang Chen almost blurted out the name General Manager, but after thinking about it, he thought it was inappropriate. He wanted to say Deputy General Manager, but he still felt it was inappropriate, so he said, Designer. Where? Haikan. Hainan Island. So far away. Yes, I'm from Yongcheng. I just came back and want to find a job in Hangcheng. Why? Zhang Chen felt that the manager had many questions, but he still answered seriously, my girlfriend works here. What Zhang Chen said is the truth, and it sounds much better than explaining what happened to him in Haikan. He is young and does not want to live in two places. This is too normal, Zhang Chen thought. All blaming themselves for why they didn't think of saying this a few days ago. The manager nodded, and asked Zhang Chen to sit across from the desk. Seeing Zhang Chen carrying a portfolio, he asked, "Have you brought your works?" Zhang Chen said he would bring it. "Here, show it to me." Zhang Chen opened the folder, took out the renderings inside, closed the folder, stood on the ground leaning on his chair, and handed the renderings to the manager. The manager's seat faced the window. He turned around and let the light from the window illuminate the paintings in his hand. He looked at them carefully one by one. After reading them, he put the renderings on the table and turned around to look at them. Looking at Zhang Chen, he asked, "Did you design all of this?" Zhang Chen said yes. "Didn't you copy it from a picture album?" No, most of these have been completed now. The hotel in Heiken and Sanya has also been halfway completed. If you don't believe it, manager. Why, let me go see it by myself. Hainan Island is so far away. I can't even go there if I want to. Zhang Chen thought for a moment and said, "I can give you the mobile phone numbers of Mr. Tan of Hainan Tenglong Decoration Co., Limited, Mr. Liu of Hainan Jinghai Real Estate Co., Limited, and Mr. Meng of Hainan Wanda Real Estate Co., Limited managers. You can call them and they will tell you what I said." The manager waved his hand. Zhang Chen stopped and did not continue. The manager said, "Okay, young man, I believe what you said." He held the renderings on the table with his hands and said to Zhang Chen, "To be honest, these designs are very good, but if you want to be a designer with us, they are still not enough." "Is it because I'm not good enough?" No, that's it. Our place looks like a company from the outside. In fact, we are a department of the Planning and Design Institute. We have 2 brands and 1 person. We are a company, and we just do some work for the institute and the bureau. To generate income, the authorities now encourage this anyway. Zhang Chen nodded, and the manager continued. "So, look at our place, it looks shabby. It is still a public institution. Those who can join us are either assigned or transferred from other units. If you have a formal unit, I can talk to the hospital and negotiate to transfer you here. You are a talented person, but you obviously don't have any formal unit, right?" Zhang Chen really wanted to tell the manager that he was actually in the business establishment, but he knew that saying so would be in vain. If they agreed to issue a transfer letter, then Yongchengwu Opera Troupe and the Cultural Bureau would have to agree to release him, and he would still be there. In Ding Begu's hands, even if he and Lu Ligan were not expelled, it would be enough for them to just say, "This person has been absent from work for more than a year and we are preparing to expel him." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 420. As the manager spoke, he picked up the renderings on the table and looked at them again. As he looked at them, he said, "What a pity, what a pity. What a talent." Someone walked in and shouted loudly, "Boss, you are in charge of the Base Hishan project." The Taiwanese are scolding them every day and asking for changes to the plan, but Ji Fio refuses to go. "I won't take care of this construction site either. I still take care of it, it's better for me. Call me the chicken feathers." Zhang Chen heard what the manager said before and knew that he had no chance here. This personnel system was an insurmountable threshold. Even if the manager thought he was a talent, it was of no use. Zhang Chen felt cold in his heart. Now that he heard that the manager had other things to deal with, he was about to stand up and say goodbye. You sit down, it doesn't matter. You are doing this anyway. You don't know about all the trivial things on the construction site, and they are not confidential." The manager waved his hand, and Zhang Chen could only sit down again. The man walked to the door and shouted outside, "Chicken feathers! Chicken feathers!" He heard someone running over from outside, and Zhang Chen saw that the chicken feather was that young man. The manager looked at him and asked, "What's the matter with you? The customer is not satisfied with the plan and wants to make changes, but you don't go over to communicate." Ji Fio said nonchalantly, I'm too lazy to go and can't communicate. Damn it, Taiwanese people are postmodern all day long. They talk about having a postmodern atmosphere, but they can't say what they want specifically. How can I change it? Then you can't just leave it to me. I'm in charge of the construction site, not the design. Now the work can't go on. The Taiwanese people are scolding me, and so are the workers below. They're all humming, pointing at me. How do I cope? The man in charge of the construction site was called Lao Ying. Lao Ying was unhappy after hearing what Ji Fio said. Lao Ying, it's not me who is the reason why we can't go on, it's the Taiwanese who is making things difficult for us. Why are you talking to me if you want to scold him? Ji Fio counterattacked. If that's the case, then I don't care about this construction site anymore. Whoever cares about it will take care of whoever you want. If we do this for 2 more days, all the workers below will escape. Okay, boss, you heard it? I'll go back to my own construction site. Lao Ying, if you have something to say, please tell me, the manager shouted. There's nothing to say, I'm leaving, Lao Ying said and left. The manager was so angry that he turned around and cursed, "What's the matter with you? You don't know about this construction site. I've already replaced 3 people to take care of this construction site. Lao Ying doesn't humming work anymore. Who will take care of it? You take care of it yourself. I'm a designer, not in charge of construction." I don't care, Ji Fio said, the big deal is that I haven't designed this project, so I don't want the bonus of a few dollars. Okay, damn you, all of you are very capable, and you all have no choice. You are all grandfathers, and I am the only grandson, okay. Are you trying to force me to manage the construction site for you? The manager looked at Zhang Chen, he said angrily, I don't care whether there are outsiders or not. I'm not forcing you, boss. I told you that at worst, I didn't take over this project. If you want to settle the score, you go to the Taiwanese to settle the score, Ji Fio said. Don't call me boss. You are my boss. I have to wipe your butt every time. Why are you not my boss? I haven't even wiped my son's butt so many times. Okay, if you don't like me, kick me back upstairs. I didn't even think about it. Ji Fei reached out to grab the stack of renderings on the table, but was slapped away by the manager, who cursed. Damn it, I want to go back upstairs myself so I don't have to wait for you all. Zhang Chen watched from the side, feeling uncomfortable for a moment. He thought, how can we work in such a humming mess? This customer is also a weird one. How serious must he be to dare to hand over the project to such a company? If such a company were to be in Hiken, they would probably starve to death long ago. Zhang Chen felt that all this seemed familiar again. After thinking about it for a while, I realized, isn't this the same Yongchengwu opera troupe that I used to have? The leader is not like the leader, but more like the president of the maintenance group. And he and Lu Ligan are no better than this chicken feather in the troupe. No matter what, Lao Yang asked them to work without half coaxing and half begging. Even if he didn't buy it, he couldn't fire him, and he didn't dare to deduct wages and bonuses for fear that they would really quit. They are even more afraid of turning conflicts at work into personal vendettas, which would cause a lot of trouble. Hey, tell me, what's going on with the Taiwanese people? The manager was at a loss and softened his tone. How do I know? I told you that he wants to be postmodern and postmodern. I'm just asking you, what does postmodernity mean? How do I know? I told him that we won't realize the 4 modernizations until the end of this century. It's still 8 years from now. When the 4 modernizations are realized first, you can't talk to me about postmodernity again. Zhang Chen was listening to the side and almost laughed. He was not laughing at Ji Fio, but a picture appeared in his mind. What kind of confused expression would the Taiwanese customer have when he heard Ji Fio's words? The manager saw Zhang Chen wanting to have fun but holding it back, so he asked, "Do you know? Do you know what this postmodern thing is about?" Zhang Chen quickly said, "I only know a little bit about it." "Okay, let's talk about this," the manager said quickly. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, "Postmodernism actually does not have a clear definition. It is a trend that began in the 1970s in the West, from philosophy to art, literature, film, music, including architecture. Yes, it is anti-modern, and the whole movement is a bit like another renaissance. They believe that modernization is making people and the world the same and losing their individuality in our industry. For example, cities and buildings are becoming like products manufactured on large industrial assembly lines. When you go to a new city that you've never been to, it's like going to a city you've been to before. It's all high-rise buildings, overpasses, and glass curtain walls. People are being squeezed by the sameness and losing their humanity. The differences and complexity that make people human are being materialized by the outside world." The manager and GFIO generally understood. The manager said, "Isn't that just bourgeois thinking? No wonder they are opposed to it. These Kuomintang reactionaries have been in Taiwan for decades, and now they are still reactionary when they come back." Zhang Chen almost laughed again. "Where is this going?" "That's right, boss, tell me, the Taiwanese probably want this kind of thing. How can I get this kind of thing? Where can I find it for them?" GFIO said to the manager. Zhang Chen felt angry and funny. "This is Hangzhou, where the majestic Zhejiang province is located. What is postmodernity? The manager at his age doesn't know, but it's easy to understand, but someone at GFIO's age doesn't know it. He didn't know which school GFIO graduated from. At least he had something to do with art, right? Gu Wenda and the others were in the 1980s when they were making a big splash and becoming famous in Zhejiang and the United States. Damn it, you were at least a high school student studying painting at that time. Are you completely deaf to what is happening outside the window? Okay, don't talk to me about what's there and what's not. You'd better go and persuade Lao Ying. At least there must be someone on the construction site to take care of it," the manager cursed. "No, you don't know that Lao Ying. He's smelly and tough. He can't go. Even 9 cows can't pull him back. I can't persuade him. Damn it, then who do you think will go if he doesn't go? There are so many workers on the construction site being herded like cattle. In my opinion, no one should really care about it." GFIO sat on the chair next to Zhang Chen, shaking his legs and said, "Let the Taiwanese beg us if he gets anxious." "Hey, these Taiwanese are really difficult to deal with," the manager sighed. He looked up and saw Zhang Chen hesitated, so he asked, "By the way, have you ever fought with Hong Kongers and Taiwanese in Haikan, dealing with each other?" Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I worked with Hong Kong P/U0026T Architectural Design Company in Haikan." "Are you the one looking for a job?" GFIO asked. Zhang Chen nodded, cursing in his mind, "Why the hell did you ask today? Let him go, boss." "I won't go, let him take care of it," Jifei cried. "Nonsense, I'm here to apply for a designer job," the manager scolded. Zhang Chen quickly said, "Manager, I was in Haikan, and I also managed construction sites, at the Tenglong Decoration Co., Limited I told you about. Look, it's not possible anymore, haha, there's no one ready to replace Lao Ying." GFIO laughed. The manager looked at Zhang Chen and asked tentatively, "Are you willing?" Zhang Chen nodded. The manager continued, "This is a temporary job with no establishment. Once you finish this project, it is over. Of course, we will always have new projects here." "It doesn't matter," Zhang Chen said. Zhang Chen was thinking, what is temporary workers and not temporary workers? Only mainland China has such a distinction. In Haikan, even the boss is temporary. If you don't do well, even the company will be ruined. Who will care about you? The general manager of Panchi Decoration Co., Limited, isn't he just a temporary worker in the end? Don't worry, brother, we have a steady stream of work here. Lao Ying has been working for more than 3 years. Ji Fei patted Zhang Chen's shoulder. I will take care of you. The first one to design the project, I'll leave it to you. Zhang Chen quickly stood up and said to him, thank you.